Okay, I think we just had a yeah, the stream just quit all of a sudden. So let me hold on a second, folks. I'm trying to get it. Okay, I think we're back now. I think we're back. Para is still flying. He's ahead of me now. That's fine. Um, yeah, the stream just suddenly quit. I just looked over and the session was suddenly at a zero, and I was like, why would it say welcome to the chat? And I just looked up and I saw the session had ended rather abruptly. Hold on a second, folks. Okay, I think we're in business now. Sorry about that. I was like, oh, no, I don't want to. At least it wasn't that the game was crashing. So, where did Para go? Oh, Para's back there. Okay. No, just the stream stopped, Joseph. That's all. The game didn't crash. The stream just crashed. That's all. That's fine. We got it. We're good. All right. So, I'm a bit perplexed. Yeah. Well, I had to pause Para because to get the stream restarted. So. I'm going to rename this. Hold on a second, folks. It's just so that I know which one's which. So, yeah, we're going to have two. Oops. All right, so when okay, kind of going, sorry, I need to kind of, so we're looking, okay, it looks like a town center, roughly, just to the north of that airport. So, oops. So we're looking for kind of a city type area. So yeah, we never picked up the VOR DME, even though I dialed it in. Hello again, Amela. Sorry about that. When you said oop, and that's when I looked and I was like, oh, the stream just suddenly ended. So sorry about that, folks. Sorry. Joseph, say you're sorry also, just in case. I'm kidding, Joseph. You don't have to. All right, so that is on 1740. Yep. Interesting that we're none of the stuff seem to have picked up our signal. Interesting. Nothing Joseph, it's fine. I had pork loin for dinner last night, Amela. I don't know what happened. It's just the stream suddenly ended. I don't know if it's a problem with Twitch or something. I don't know, but it's fine. It happens sometimes. As long as it wasn't the game crashing, that's the important part. We're fine. Let me just kind of see, for my own curiosity. Ooh, we are way off. Okay. We gotta turn to the... Yeah, everything's fine, Joseph. It's okay. It's fine. We're good. Yeah, we would have overshot our... Yeah. Well, like, if the game crashes, then the stream will end because if it's not receiving information from the game. Now, if I can get it restarted very quickly, then it's fine. Oh, we got it. We got it. Yay, it's working now. We finally picked it up. Yay, it's working. Woohoo! All right. Now the question will be, I think if we followed this, we'd be fine because we were well to the left. So now we're looking for the airport. So we are getting there much quicker than expected. See, now it's buffering again. So we're keeping an eye on this now. This for our navigating. We finally picked it up. Nice. Whew. Boy, that's a very low power VOR DME. To be that close, and then it finally picks up. So now we're looking for the airport. Now, what I can do, let's have a look here at our list. So we're looking for VILK. Now I would think we would talk. Okay, so it's on the fourth on the list right there. So we still got a bit to go, but we're within. We can hear the VOR DME now. That's the important part. But so I'm guessing as we get a little bit closer, we may, because we're going to be going over them, we may actually talk to approach for that airport, and so then we'll know that they may even tell us what distance we are or something, possibly, I don't know. All right, so now I need to look for, okay, there's that another river. We just flew over that body of water there. So we're looking for, our visual cue is to our left. There should be like a major city kind of looking area. And then just to the south of that should be our airport. So we're looking for, that's our visual cues for today. All right, so we know now, this is good because we know the system works. It's just that the VOR DME for this particular area isn't very powerful. So it's not like it's reaching out over 150 nautical miles. You know, where some of them are very powerful, but not all of them are, for various reasons. Once we have our airport in sight and we know where we're going, where our next, or I know where our next leg, where we're heading. So once we have all that visual confirmation, then we're going to turn on the heading of 150. This part will be fairly quick. So yeah, let me make a note here because we definitely will be in 1 hour time frame. So it's just how many minutes would be the big question here. Ooh, I like it. So yeah, we know the systems work. That's the important thing. So that's what I'm talking. That little compass right there. As long as we keep that pointed towards our expected VOR DME, then we'll be fine. Well, so what it is, Para, and a lot of this was developed by Pan Am, the radio navigation stuff. So what it is it sends a signal and it's Morse code, and so then once you know you're tuned into that, and that's associated with the air, like if you're going to land there, right? The navigator would say, okay, I've got the signal, and now we have to turn, on this heading, and we'll go right to it, So they were, they had the chart and all the necessary flying, navigating stuff. So that's how they would navigate. But they had a, there was, I forget where I watched it on, but there was a whole documentary about how Pan Am developed the radio navigating stuff. So once I hear that's the 3-letter beep for, or no, Morse code for LKN. That's the so the first one is L, and then K, then N in Morse code. So it does assist us to make sure we're heading the right direction to our navigation point. And then plus with the time, because I've been reading and it's a lot of math, it's trigonometry and even, yeah, it's basically based on trigonometry. But I'm plodding through it. I may not understand everything, but navigating and how they came up with the nautical mile system and the Latin long, how all of that was created in order to help with, at first it was ship navigating, and now aerial navigating by air as well. So as long as you have a stopwatch and you have visual references and you can kind of figure out where you are and where you're going, then you can navigate that way. Just like if you ever watch, I think tonight Captain Arish will be back flying, hopefully. If not, it might be next week. But he's got a few glitches in his system that he's trying to iron out. That's how he navigates. And if you watch him on Saturday with him and Allison, he does the celestial navigating. Now, it's very in-depth mathematics stuff, but it's just fascinating because he's navigating in the way that the pilots did back, the navigators for the pilot. Like Fred Noonan navigated that way for Amelia Earhart on the around the world flight. And so, but they had to keep very precise time. He had to know, like, okay, at this time, at this point, I need to do my celestial navigating stuff. And so Captain Arish is very much like that. He'll say, in 20 minutes, I got to do my celestial navigating. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, Para, but the thing is, you can't, in all honesty, in the real world, you can't fly that close to the ground to look around. I mean, in the sim, yes, you can, but that's not, I only get closer to the ground when I know we're getting ready to land, kind of thing. But, one of the things that I'm trying to challenge myself with is flying, basically only using an instrument like this, tuned into the VOR DME or any kind of navigation aid whenever possible, and a stopwatch. So that's why I had to find, because I was like, okay, how am I going to time myself? If I do it on my watch, my actual wristwatch, I'll forget and I won't pay attention to it. So I had to download a little app for the top of my MacBook. It goes up in the toolbar at the top, and then I start it once we're rolling down the runway, or as I hit the throttles and we're starting to go. I start my stopwatch, and then I go from there. So right now I've got a time of 1 hour and 10. So we are definitely going to be there before the hour 48, I think. That's my estimation. We're going to pass our first nav point well before the hour 48. But what I'm doing is I calculate, I kind of guess, the distance, 159 nautical miles divided by speed 107 knots. And then it gives me a rough time. Now, we were flying much faster, about 7 knots quicker for a majority of the flight. So we got there, we're getting across the ground a little bit faster. But we're, I think, if I had to guess, folks, I think this is our airport right here. I think. Let's have a look here. Let's see if we're right. I think that's our nav point right up there. So if I look at the okay. Yep. So this should be it. Right here is like the terminal area, and there's the runway. And our VOR is on that side, right over there. So we should be flying right towards it. Yep. We are cooking with Crisco, folks. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yep. So we are... This is our second time using this form of navigating, and we are nailing it. That's good. I am very happy. I'm going to get all emotional and shit now. I wish Captain Marsh was watching. He'd be very impressed, I think. He'd be like, good job. He might say that. I don't know. But yeah, it's... And once we're on our way to our next navigation point, I'll tell you something here in a moment. So we're going to fly over that runway, basically. We're going to fly over that. We're going to try to fly over the VOR before we turn on our next heading of 150. But yep, there's our airport. Ta-da! Now we may be able to see from the air. I know the VOR, DME, the box or whatever you want to call it, the little building that houses that whole thing, should be somewhere over here. But we might be able to see it from the air, actually. I'm surprised though that we didn't talk to this airport's approach. Because I would have thought we would have done that, but maybe not. That's okay. So if I look, hold on, let me look at the... Okay, it's towards... There's a little cutout. I think it should be like right about, oops, right about there somewhere. We're going to fly over that, make sure we pass that VOR DME, just for good purposes. That's okay. Well, and that's, hold on. Let's get past this, and we'll talk a little bit more about things. But I'm really ecstatic. I'm so happy. You guys you don't even know. So it's all thanks to Captain Arish, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Okay. So there's that. So it's just short of that little bump right there. So it should be like right over here somewhere. And usually there is a road that will go to that point because they, for maintenance purposes, somebody from the airport or whatever would go out there to check, to make sure that it's functioning or whatever, or do, routine maintenance or whatever. All right, so we're flying over that. Let me tune in to the next one, which is 11330. And on a heading of 150. All right, let's go ahead and turn. Oh, let me pause the stopwatch. 1 hour 16. Actually, we'll just round it up and say 1 hour 17 minutes. Perfect. So reset the stopwatch. That's okay, Para. I'll explain it here in a moment. And if you don't get it, that's okay. It's completely fine. I didn't get it at first either. I struggle with understanding all the differences about the ways of navigating. Okay, I didn't understand it at all. So, but because Captain Arish was like, well, if you look at it this way or think about it like this, then things kind of start to make a little bit of sense. So I don't quite know why it said to go to 11, like the cruise was about 11,000 feet, but that's okay. We're doing fine. We're not. So now the key will be we're going to try to stay on a 150 heading, and then as soon as we get a little bit closer, I think the VOR DME down there by our destination of Allahabad. The problem is if I put in that airport, I don't get a it exists, but I don't get an airport sort of any kind of chart or anything. That's the only drawback. Okay, so when I was flying initially with Captain Arish, I kind of tagged along, but I was using, initially I was using the GPS. But the thing is in order for GPS to do its own thing, the autopilot system and all that, to basically fly the plane itself, we need different navigation points so that the plane says, okay, at this point I turn here and go this way, and then I go to this other point and I turn over here, or I fly straight or whatever. That's basically what is instrument flying rules is. All that information is in your flight computer, or whatever you have, and then you put all that in. You just say, okay, we're going from here, from this airport to this airport, but along the way we have to go to these nav points. In this way of flying, you have to know you have, well, you have to kind of trust yourself to know what you're doing and that you're doing it correctly. It's not easy because it can be very overwhelming because it's not something that we do or know about. You know, when we fly on a jetliner, we trust that the pilot and the co-pilot know where they're going, you know, and that they're going to get us there safely. And it used to be, yeah, you had a navigator on board. But it's also one of the things that Captain Arish talked about, which kind of brought me back to my time in the military. When you rely on technology for everything, sooner or later the technology is going to fail, or your batteries will go dead, or the GPS satellites may stop working. If like there's an EMP attack or whatever, all that stuff is going to stop working. If you don't know how to use a map and compass, at a minimum, you're not going to know which way to go. Now, if you know the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, you can kind of say, okay, I have to head this direction to the west, or I have to head roughly this way to go north, or the other way to go south. So you can kind of guess roughly which way to go. But and even then, if the hold on a second, folks, got another ad, let the ads roll through. I'll pick it up on the other side. No, I guess it hasn't started yet. Anyway, so if you can dead reckon, or like your north, south, east, west based on the settings and rising sun, then you can still navigate, right? But if you don't know that, or you don't practice it, like in the military, that was one of the things. It was a key element as a soldier that you knew how to navigate with a map and compass and a protractor. And it's this square plastic thing with some triangles cut out, and so you could find your grid point position on a map. So if you had to call in for an artillery attack or medevac or whatever, you could give them the coordinates of your location, and you had to be as precise as possible so that they could, help you out. But with everything now in a GPS system, it's kind of like, well, if all that stuff is broken or it can't be used, then how are you going to get from point A to point B? That's the difficult part. But just like in auto racing, for instance, if you like the so in auto racing, say like the 24-hour Le Mans, right? At some point, in order for the lead car, for instance, right, they might tell the driver, you need to be consistently doing a 3-minute 30 lap in order to maintain the gap between you and the second place car, so that when you come into the pits, either you're going to have a nice cushion and you'll come back out in first, or you'll be in maybe third or fourth place, and then they'll pit, and then we'll go back to the front. So everything, even if you're driving your own personal car, and you say, okay, this trip is going to take 3 hours, but if I have a constant speed of 75 miles an hour versus 55, I'll get there quicker, right? So Yeah, and sometimes you got to do that too, and that's what would happen before GPS and all that. You would have a road atlas, and then you would pull into a gas station. You'd say, okay, um, I'm trying to go from this point to this point. What do I do? How do I get? Where am I at roughly on the map, and which way do I need to go? Because generally, the people that worked at the gas station knew the area. So you could go in, you pull out your map on the hood of your car, and you'd say, well, we're trying to get here. Where are we at roughly on the map so I know how much farther I've got to go? You know. Well, and it was always the husband never wanted to ask for directions. Um, so it was always at the pressure of the wife to pull over and ask for help at some point. And so he would reluctantly agree, like, okay, fine, I'll get the directions. But it was always at a gas station generally. Or if you didn't have a map of the area, you could go to a gas station and buy one. And it was a fold-up map. And so a lot of people would have a glove compartment full of maps. you know. So I'm ecstatic because being able to navigate this way and the systems work, then it's like, okay, it's not, one of the things that Captain Arsh was talking about early on when I was watching his streams is people tend to overcomplicate things because it's not something that we're used to doing. So it's like, well, you make it more complicated than it is. It's not necessary. And especially with, you're like, oh, like I couldn't do celestial navigating because I don't have a system on the Xbox that would allow me to utilize the program that Captain Arish does on Saturdays with Allison to navigate that way. So, but if I know I can dial in a VOR, DME, or some kind of a navigation aid, and I know the direction I'm supposed to be going, then I should be able to get there. If not, at least if I have some kind of a visual reference, say, okay, if I follow this road for the next 80 nautical miles, I should run right into my airport. And sometimes that's how they would fly. They would, oh, there goes Para. They would navigate that way. They would, follow a road, and they'd say, okay, if I follow this and I keep going this direction roughly, the road will take me right to the airport. So yeah, we've done really good, I think, overall. So, but it's, trying to get, do the things necessary to make it work. I can have the distance. It's just that I never had a way to time myself or estimate. I could estimate, but without having a stopwatch available to me where I can look at it and say, okay, we still have this much farther to go. It's kind of difficult to do it. But so then we were relying on more modern navigating equipment to get us there. But if now that we know it works, we can fly in this version and all that. So this is a much more basic version of the Junkers 52. So we can do it. We can fly in this thing. I think would be a even better treat. I think. But it's also part of it is also, like streaming and trying to keep track of all those things. It can be a bit difficult because it's not you're trying to get things done, and like when Captain Arish is doing his celestial navigating, he'll say, okay, I can't answer your questions right now. I will get back to the chat in a moment. I have to do this, otherwise we've missed our window to know where we are around in any given point in the world. So yeah, it's a bit difficult when, you know, people have questions or whatever. Tara's doing I guess he's doing a dive bomb on, he's just dropping all kinds of altitude. Tara, are you okay? Tara, you're like dropping altitude way fast, dude. I don't know if that's intentional or if your system has like stopped working or something. I don't know. Yeah, and you're still losing altitude. I have a bad feeling you're going to end up crashing. I don't know if like your system's okay. Now you're kind of leveling off. Okay. All right. Let's see. So this one is supposed to be 1 hour 20 minutes of flying on this to this nav point. So we'll see. We're still doing pretty good as far as our speed goes. But this one might be might be roughly around about the correct time. It seems like my first leg, it's overestimated, but my second leg is about spot on. Now the dangerous part, in a way, so if you go zipping down in altitude, right, in a Junkers 52, one, it's not made to go very fast, okay? So you might be overspeeding, and then if you pull up, now you're in danger. Even though you've got that speed, you're in danger of stalling the plane. So, because if you have your nose up way too high, you're going to be climbing, but at some point your plane's going to be like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. It's going to give up. And then you're going to be like stalling, and then suddenly you're going to nose over. And so you're just it's like you're creating problems for yourself that aren't necessary, you know. Now, if you know that you can control the plane and everything, that's fine, but it's like, it's a very dangerous thing. And if you're, you know, and I get it, some people are like, well, I can do this, and it's fine. But, you know, it's better to make the whole flight and land and say, okay, we took off from this point, we navigated to here, and then we navigated to our destination, we landed, everything was fine, we made it, you know. But if you fly foolishly, in a way, then you might get a laugh, right? Just like that jackass, and I'm sorry, but he was a jackass last night in Joe's chat. Well, do a lake landing, go ahead. Well, if you want to do a lake landing, do it yourself. Why would you come in and ask somebody else to do it? If that's what you want to do it yourself. You know, why are you going to ask somebody to do that? To me, that's just stupid. I'm sorry, but it is. There's nothing funny about it. You know, I think Joe takes, you know, he wants to do the flying correctly and take off and land and make it, and because then it's a sense of satisfaction that everything worked the way it was supposed to work, you know. But there are people, I've seen it on Twitch, there are people who will take off and they'll climb up and then they will purposely crash the plane at some point. Okay. Was it really necessary? You know, what was the reasoning behind that? You know, so yeah. Now, if it's one thing if Joe were to say, you know, we're gonna what would we do if we actually had, you know? But on a sim, it's, you know, it's not like if you crash land on the water that suddenly you're going to come to a stop, The doors are going to open, the little slides and the life rafts and all that are going to, that's not what it happens in the sim. You just crash on the water and then you're done. You don't you've wasted all that time. Now, what Captain Arish has done, like on the 737 from PMDG, you can simulate, you can introduce things like what happens if an engine goes out or if this system fails or whatever. Then you can learn how to deal with all that. There's nothing wrong with that. But, actually saying, oh, we'll just land on this water, it'll be fine. No, that's not what the sim is about. Well, like if like when I've crash landed, right? It's not that I do it intentionally. It's like either I am not paying attention to what I'm doing, either I'm going too slow or I'm going too fast or whatever. Sometimes it happens, but it's not that I want to do it intentionally. I like to be able to fly, take off and land, but I just, it boggles my mind that somebody would come in and ask Joe to purposely land on the lake. But it's like, no, that's not what I want to do. But if that's what you want when you're flying, then do it yourself. Why should it have to be that Joe would do it for you? Do it yourself. That's why I had to ask that person. And I don't even want to say the name. Do you have the simulator? No. Well, so if you want to do all that kind of stuff, then by all means, go get the sim and do it yourself. You can crash land all day until you're blue in the face, and then after a while you're gonna be like, okay, I think that's not fun anymore. And then maybe you'll take it seriously and go like, okay, now I really want to learn how to fly better. But it's just, I don't. It's like the people who would come in and tell you, well, speed the train up, or why don't you just run into the station? Run into the station. Why? Why would I crash? Because then you don't get, the service isn't completed. You lose all that time. Now, if you don't care, then that's a different story. But I don't think Joe wants to operate a simulator in that fashion. Now, if something fails and he can't stop in time or whatever, then it's a different story. But to purposely cause an accident and have all that time gone, then it's just like, dang. So, anyways, yeah, I almost feel like telling that person, you come into my chat and ask that, I'm gonna kick you right out. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna deal with that foolishness. You can find other streamers. I am not that person, I can tell you. I might laugh if I crash by accident. I might laugh about it and go like, oop, well, I screwed up. That's different. But I'm not going to try to purposely fail at flying. I just don't find any joy in that. I'd rather take off and land and enjoy the journey. But some people don't. For whatever reasons, I am perplexed. Some people never, when I've been flying with Captain Arish, some people take off. They don't even I can only go about halfway, so, I'll go to a certain point and then I'll be done. Well, I don't, Joseph, you're right, I don't. And I don't want to, Like like last night when I was flying, it's dark, there's mountains around me. I did a quick barrel roll before I got to the airport. But I was like, well, that might not have been a good idea because, what if I misjudged my space that I had? Then I could have oops, a daisy. Yep, I crashed. But I didn't, luckily. But yeah, it's just not I don't know. I don't particularly care for that kind of nonsense. But yeah, but there's people who will fly, who don't even say anything. They just fly for a bit and then they disappear. They don't even, yeah, it's very strange. I don't understand it, but maybe it's not for me to understand. I don't know. Anyway, 6 viewers. Thank you all for coming in today. Glad you're all here. We are on our way to Allahabad. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And we are, once we land there. Now, this was not a point on the. I don't think they stopped here. They kept. There was another airport beyond this, which I think is our next destination on Monday, which is Ranchi, Ranchi, I think was the next point. I think. Also, when we took off at Agra Air Base, just to the northeast of the airport was the Taj Mahal. If I'd remembered that, we would have gone over the Taj Mahal and then turned. But yeah, we were near the Taj Mahal. I think, yeah, Agra might have been the, so it might have been Allahabad back in the day. I don't know. All right, 24 minutes. So, oh, all right. Hey, we got our nav point again. All right, there we go. We picked it up. Ta-da! Things are working, folks. Imagine that. There we go. All right, so as long as we head roughly this direction right here, we'll be fine. All right. Let's see what's our. Let's see if our airport is on the list yet. I don't think it is. VE8. Oh, there it is. We are nearby. Okay. Well, then here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to go ahead and call them and say, hey, we're coming in, and we want a runway of 12. Oh, it's not even towered. Oh. 36. Ooh, all right. We need to start getting down in altitude. Well, it's worked, folks. I am very pleased. This has been a Monday was a great flight. Many of you missed that. Today's been great. We've navigated and we've communicated, navigated, and aviated, and all that other good stuff. So we have done great. I think we've had a great flight, great flying. Thank you, Para, for joining in today. Appreciate that. So now we know roughly where we are and how much farther we got to go. So really pleased. I'm going to try to continue to do things this way so that we become more comfortable with it. And all that. So, all right. Oh, I don't know the. Don't know the. Hold on. Let me see if I can find an airport altitude. 321 feet. Okay. All right. So it's not like these. So, 2 or 3,000 feet in altitude. It's only 321 feet in altitude. Okay, perfect. I had a couple of crunchy oats and dark chocolate granola bars this morning. Pretty good stuff. Well, if you've been lurking, say hello before we land. It'd be greatly appreciated if you want to. It's not necessary, but it'd be nice for folks said hello. Joseph doesn't bite. He may nibble, but he doesn't bite. If you really like Joseph, take him to KFC and he'll be your friend forever. I'm glad we were able to restart the stream and keep going, so we will upload both these parts to YouTube today for tomorrow. It will be available noontime tomorrow, noontime today. For Monday. Wait, no, there's no stream from yesterday, so there's no video. You know what I'm like. So yeah, nothing was loaded to YouTube, since we didn't fly yesterday. So yeah, you have to wait till tomorrow, or you can rewatch it here on Twitch if you so desire. We're back tomorrow in the Cessna 152. We'll be in Vietnam. 10 Sun Not International going to Lam Dong Airport. 114 nautical mile flight, straight shot. Nothing fancy. But we're going to use the very similar, all of our same, what we did today. We're going to do the very same thing tomorrow in the Cessna 152. The Cessna 152 is very basic, just like this plane is. So we will get our get everything plotted, and then we will be on our way. Okay, I see this. Right. Okay, I know exactly where we are. Okay, yep, I know where we are. Based on that body of water right there and the river. Don't understand this airport. Okay, so, Hera, what it is that some airports have a tower. Somebody's there to communicate with the pilot. This is a non-towered, so it'll say something traffic. So you're basically calling in, and if anybody else is going to that airport, they're going to know that you're coming in for landing as well on that particular runway. Okay. That's what. So when we get on the ground, they won't really tell us where to park because there's no ground radio. It's basically it's like a private airport. You know, if you land there, you fly in and out of there, you know where your parking spot is that you normally park at. So don't worry about it. We're fine. Yeah, we're good. So we'll land and we'll find a place to park and we'll call it a day. So there we go. Yeah, so it's just a matter of knowing there's different types. You know, like a big airport like Heathrow, for instance, they have somebody's there 24 hours a day, you know, for any kind of flying. So like if cargo flights are going out, somebody's there to communicate with them, you know, the ground stuff, so that, you know, taxi from your parking spot to here, stop there, contact the tower when you're ready to go, all that kind of stuff. So we don't have to worry about that necessarily with this airport. So that's why. And usually, so like for takeoff, when we take off out of here on Monday next week, we will be talking. Well, we're gonna say we're gonna take off, and then once we're in the air, we'll talk to blah 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 center or whatever, and then they'll give us any other information that we might need. I think it looks like, yes. Ooh, we're gonna have a bit of a evening landing. Look at that. The sun is going down. So this is very similar to what they would have done on this route. That if the sun was starting to go down, they were losing their ability to see the area around them. They would try to get on the ground as quickly as possible before they lost their visual references. So we've got a little bit of sunlight left. It's not quite there yet, but we are. Okay, so let me look at this again. All right, there's a big... Let's see, hold on a second here. I think our airport is somewhere... I think it's coming up over here. I think our airport's supposed to be right up over here. Okay, so there's that bit there. So yeah, we should be coming in on our airport here any moment now. So we should see our landing path coming up here in a moment. Oh, there it is, right there. Ta-da! All right, so we got to turn over that way. We can turn this off. We don't hear the beeping because we know where we are. All right, we're going to go ahead and get ready to land here, folks. We're going to go straight on in. Well, no, you know what? We'll do the pattern. That's fine. That way it'll give us time to drop altitude and start slowing down. Let me get some flaps down here so we can start that aspect of our flight. All right, there we go. Got the sun coming off the prop there. Ooh, you know what? This will be... Let's get this picture right here real quick. A little bit of evening flying here. That'll work. All right. Let's get back to flying, shall we? We've done enough photography for today. Prints are available for $500 each. Kidding, of course. If you want an autograph, it's $1,000. If you want both mine and Per's autograph, it's $1,500. If it's me and Mick flying together, it's easily $5,000 for the whole thing. If you want the picture, our autographs, and all that, that's $5,000. Sorry, but the price goes up if it's Mick and I. We're gonna split it, $2,500 each. No takers? Okay. I figured I'd just put that out there in case anybody had extra $5,000 sitting around that they wanted to waste. Oh, Mick is watching. Hopefully he's well. Mick, if you're here, I hope you're well, good sir. Miss having you in the chat. Hopefully you're back to streaming and back to flying and everything when you're ready. Hopefully you will fly this Saturday with us if you can. Interesting shadow there on the prop from the plane. All right. Well, thank you all for sticking around, for coming back after we had a little hiccup there with the stream earlier. Appreciate it. Did not expect that to happen, but sometimes it does for whatever reasons. Ooh, wow, suddenly the time changed. Wait a minute, how did that happen? What? How did that just happen? I didn't even change it. Harry, did you change the time? I didn't change any time. Wow, it just suddenly went... Well, can we go to live time? Oh, it's on real time. Interesting, it just changed it on its own. Well, that's a bummer. I wanted a nice Well, at least we got the pictures before it did its own thing. Doggone it. Well, for me, it's just like suddenly it got brighter. Like the time changed. I wonder if I put on the live weather. Maybe that's what it is. Then everything might click. Nope. Ooh, no. Oh, God, no. We don't want an Arctic chill. Where is my clear skies? There we go. We can't have an Arctic chill here. This isn't the Arctic. If they have an Arctic chill here, there's a problem. Yeah, for some reason mine just changed out of the blue, but that's okay. That's fine. I was like, why would it change all of a sudden? It sucks, because I really was enjoying that we were coming in the evening time. Oh well. All right. Yeah, so we're going to get ready to get on the ground here, folks. Second bit of flaps. As usual, folks, you know what time it is. I am going to start. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn the laptop to the right so I don't get distracted by Joseph. I'm kidding, Joseph. And once we're on the ground, I'll catch up with the chat. So, yeah, that's strange. Oh well. Not sure why it did that, but it happens sometimes. Some things happen in the sim that don't always make a lot of sense, but it's fine. We're getting there. That's a great thing about doing the pattern this way. entering downwind left. Then we have time to start bleeding off altitude and everything, kind of get ourselves prepared for landing. I mean, I think we're pretty much as prepared as we can get, but now we just have to drop altitude and start slowing down. Our airport is right over there somewhere. Oh, right over there. There it is. Did really good on fuel. So gonna have at least half a tank left. I think Para's just going to go right on in for the landing. Go for it, Para. Do what you got to do. You're ready to land. Go for it. Now, the VOR DME that we were flying towards is actually right near our landing runway. So it would have taken us pretty much right there to begin with. But I try to give myself space so that if we have to turn for our in any way or whatever, we know roughly how much space we got left to do everything with. My left eye is just bugging me this morning. It's like I got an eyelash that's just like stuck or something. All right. Para's on final. I'll catch up with you on the ground in a moment, Para. Pretty high still. We need to really drop some altitude here. Right. Nope, Cher's already ready for us. He's already on the ground. Hopefully clear of the runway. Turned a little bit late. Almost a little bit late. Gotta really drop some altitude here. Boy, this thing really just wanted to keep climbing. I don't know why. That's alright. We're gonna make it. It's like a railroad track maybe right there. Boy, we really turned off the runway there. There we are. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, we'd like to welcome you to Allahabad. Local time, I believe, is... Oops. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What in the world? Wow. I was just trying to get the nose to settle down, or the tail to settle down so we can steer. Get on the ground here. There we go. Thank you, Mella. All right, we're gonna have to turn around, and there's the parking spots are behind us. There, so we'll do a U-turn there at the end. If you want to turn around and head back, well, Mella, the thing is, I lost hours. I was getting close to 500. And then I lost, it sent me back to 0. Now, it's a known issue. They don't know why. There's no way to get those hours back. But based on my... Oh, I gotta stop. Just realized. Oh, I think it would have been like 50 minutes. Hold on a second. Oops. Hold on, let me make a note of that. I'm just gonna put 50. So we did very good, time-wise. But overall, as it stands on my own personal tracker, I have almost 600. I have, as of last night, my total is 584 hours, 13 minutes, and 53 seconds of flying. Well, it wasn't awesome, Joseph. It was okay. Well, I don't know. It's just suddenly all the hours disappeared. I didn't do anything. It was like they cleared everything out somehow, and so I lost all those hours on my profile. Now I was over 100 hours. I was on my way to my next level, and yeah, it just stopped working, or they deleted everything. Like all my flights, the logs, everything gone, gone. And even like once I leave this flight, right? I leave the group or whatever, the hours will be there. But if I exit the sim and everything, it will. When I come back in later, those hours might be gone also. I think Para, what are you doing? Okay, that's kind of odd. Para's like on the grass somehow. Para, that's not the taxiway there, bro. got to be on the, at least we're going to taxi over to here. We're going to turn to the right here, and then we'll find a parking spot. Pair left. About a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months. I don't remember. Wait, I can tell you roughly when it happened. Hold on. I was parked. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it had you like up on the grass or something. That was weird. Okay. Well, thanks for coming in, Para. Appreciate it. It's fine. Hold on a second. Let me park this thing and I'll tell you, Amela. Give me a second. I had... Well, what it was before all that happened, I was starting to keep track of my own hours because, like, when I would fly with Captain Arish, like a day or so later, the hours were gone. Like the very next day when I would log in, the hours were gone. So I don't know why that is. Well, thanks for flying today, Para. Appreciate it. We got a couple people just standing around here. Watch out. Watch out. Whoosh. Alright, let's see if we can turn here. I guess that's our ground crew waiting for us. So there's a tower here, but I guess it's just not, there's nobody there in the tower answering the radio or whatever. Okay, oops. That's fine. Maybe because it's evening time, really, it's, maybe they've got it closed, the tower's closed for the evening. Dude, quit walking. You're going to walk right into an engine, and I'm not going to be responsible for you getting jacked up there, idiot. Oops. Alright, that should be good enough right there. Hotel and bus. Okay, that's fine. Alright, there we are. 2 hours and 6 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I like it. We did very good. Let me just get that notated. 020638. So, I started keeping track of my hours back in March 13th to be exact. Now, when I lost those hours and had to start over, I don't remember. Or, you know, in the sim, it was like starting over. That I don't remember when that happened, but yeah, I started keeping track because I think that was around about the time I started flying with Captain Arish, and I noticed my hours, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to create my own spreadsheet. So yeah, technically by my estimation, I have, it would be 586 hours total. So I'm over the 500 mark, but because I lost those hours, I'm still struggling to even get to 100 again. Like some of those hours just disappear for whatever reasons. So yeah, it sucks. So, but it says here we have a total of 86 hours, 27 minutes, and 58 seconds of flying, according to this right there, which is nowhere near the truth. So anyway, that's going to do it for today, folks. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out. Sorry about the hiccup with the stream earlier. So stuff happens sometimes, but we're good. And I will see you all tomorrow, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK in the Cessna 152 Tan Son Knot International, going to Lam Dong Airport. So if you want to fly, you're more than welcome to join up. We're going to just have a nice, relaxing, very basic aircraft flying, and it'll be all good. Do enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning, afternoon, evening, early Thursday morning, depending on where you are in the world. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot, Uncle B. Until then, peace, live long and prosper.